So welcome to our Sunday Night Live show. Tonight we're going to talk about some interesting things to see and do in several places. Sorry, playing with my technology here. So the first question we always ask is, where are you watching from? And whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on the replay, do us a favor, put that answer in there, because we always love it. We get the chance to interact with you, understand where our audience is. And we get people from a lot of different places, kind of around the world, which is really, really nice. We have one regular visitor from up in Canada. So I expect she'll be here, but we have people from all over. And it's just so you know, this is our next to last show from this room. You'll notice this room behind me looks pretty empty. And that's because we have one more show from here after tonight. We'll do a hotel show here in North Carolina. And then after that, they'll all be from Florida or traveling. Could be Florida, could be traveling. Let's see, we got Michael from Chelsea, New York.
Hello, Michael.
Nice to have you with us. And hi from the URI basketball. Let us know where you're from, basketball. And then the other thing, this is a live show. It's designed to be interactive. So if you have questions, you have comments, well, again, whether you're watching it live or on the replay, put them in. I try to answer every comment that I see after the show. We try to include everything that we can during the show as well. Tonight, we're going to talk about a couple of destinations that I think do a really good job of trying to help people that travel with challenges. It was interesting. I was looking because it's close to my house. That'd be Tampa Bay. We're going to be about 20 or 30 miles from the Tampa Bay area. But also my next destination, as it stands right now, things are always flexible, but this is a definite that the end of November, we're going to be in Barbados. And so as I had planned this trip a while back and reached out and I found a contact in Barbados, and they actually have a section of their website that's focused on the accessible travel. Yeah. Let me. I'm gonna pull it up and
some of the things we'll talk about tonight, as far as Tampa Bay, are going to be good for families with autism, children with autism. There's a number of special activities there, activities that they make special days just for autistic children. So if you were traveling there, you would want to contact them and see what are the best days to go.
Yeah, and again, it's interesting. The accessibility, I think, is becoming more mainstream, but so many places don't have much on their website about it. So we have Pam. Hi, Pam from Canada. Glad to have you. Oh, sorry to hear that, Michael. That is so frustrating when they mess up your chair. Hi, Rhonda. Nice to have you with us tonight as well. So we're going to start with, I'm going to share a website. And so let's see. I want to share a screen. I want to share that screen. So we're going to start with Barbados. And I'm going to talk a lot about Barbados. Cheryl's got a lot to say about Tampa. We kind of split it up a little bit. But this is the website, and I'll put all of these links will be in the show notes or the comments on Facebook, and they'll also be in the description on YouTube. So you can find them. It'll be after we're done, but sorry for the pop-up ad there. But fully accessible Barbados. So this is a government function, and they do some things that are really, really cool. To start with, here on the home page, they have accessible hotels, accessible fun, places of interest, all kinds of things. And so we're going to take a look at a couple of them. I'm going to start with this. And we will get video of this when we are in Barbados. Well,
the page is a little slow there. I went to the wrong one, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I picked it. It came up earlier for me.
Let's try this.
I guess you're going to have to.
We got a form, but we didn't get.
Oh, I think if you fill out the form, might pop up.
I got to fix this. I know what it is. Excuse me while I fix the issue.
An extra S. H, I mean, I'm sorry, extra H.
Okay, let's try this.
It's still not cooperating. Well, you can go back to the.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Okay, so check this out. You broke the airline on 2 different trips, Pam, or your scooter got broken by the airlines on 2 different trips? I'm confused there.
You can show the notes when you say stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. So let's see. There we go. So let's get them in order. Okay, she broke her scooter. No, she broke the airline. Yeah. Thanks, Rhonda. You guys are fun tonight. I love it. I like an audience that's engaged.
Oh, there's one thing I want to say about this wheelchair is I tried one similar to this in Mexico, right? And it wasn't as nice looking as this one, but it sat very low. This one, like if you're really, really tall, you're going to need a lot of help to get in and out of it. But once you're in it, it's comfortable. This one looks like it has better armrests. These armrests are movable. The one I was in, the armrests were very low and they were not removable, which made it hard to get in. So this one might be easier to get in. I'm looking forward to trying it. Well,
in this one, though, this one floats. You can put it out in the water. Most of the ones we've tried in the past do not float. So that has been has been a challenge, because you can't get in the water with them. And if you're a full-time wheelchair user, you can get on the sand, but that's not getting in the water. So we're really looking forward to a chance to test this out.
Yeah, it does look nice. So we'll let you know how it really works.
Okay. Well, Michael, I'm going to do this for you in probably the next year, because it'll take a while. I am going to have accessible information for hotels and transports for all of the cruise ports in Miami. Tampa's where we're going to start just because it's close and easy.
I mean, in Florida.
In Florida, yeah. What did I say?
You said Miami.
In Miami, yeah, in Florida. Okay. Because we've run into that. We've run into issues on both coasts with taxis, and so we're gonna get it figured out and find ways to get where we want to go and do it easily. But anyway, so I thought that was pretty cool. But they have some other things that's nice. They have an accessible beach, and this tells you about a variety of beaches that are probably somewhat accessible. This first one doesn't have a changing room that's accessible. This one doesn't have a changing room at all. Where'd it go? This one has a fully accessible shower and bathroom for wheelchairs.
Which beach is that?
That's Bath Beach facility. So Bath is the beach, but it has a private bath.
Okay.
Oh. But anyway, so we're looking forward to testing that out. This might be where you see Cheryl with the beach wheelchair. So we're looking forward to that. They have some other things that are pretty cool. It lists the accessible hotels. So this is kind of handy. I thought that where you can go and find accessible property.
And if you have really special needs, or you're real particular about what you need, then you can always call these hotels, and at least this gives you a good start on where to look.
Yeah, and then there are some all-inclusive resorts. We're staying at one. I don't know how accessible it'll be. Okay. All right. Well, Michael, I have some hotels for you, so we can solve that easy. The hotel's the easy part. Transportation's the hard part. Yeah. It's amazing when you fly in Canada, it's not a problem, but trying to get to Canada was a problem. Yeah, all of those things become issues and frustrating. I will say this, and I'm sure I've told you this, Pam, but I will say for everybody, if you travel with a scooter, my recommendation is travel instead, if you can, and I know not everybody can, travel with a manual wheelchair and then rent something at the port, because that keeps them from breaking it. It keeps you from the hassle of the batteries and just all of the things that are a challenge. So that's my preferred way of doing it. Plus, you get to try out different scooters. We have one that Cheryl and I like. You'll see us in that a lot more. When we were in Alaska, we had a conventional scooter. Oh, yeah. We stayed at a brand new brand by one of the IHG properties. And they didn't have any, I guess they had it in the hallway, but they didn't have any carpet in the room. Yeah, it was an Avid or, yeah, I'll find it out, but we'll be working on it, because my goal is to start in these ports and start touring all of the hotels in the ports, filming all of their accessible rooms, creating a list of how many of the different kinds they have, all of that kind of stuff. And I have reached out already to one of the chains to have conversation, because you rent what you think is an accessible room and you find it's not. And that is, I understand Michael's frustration. I get pretty aggravated, but at least, we're fortunate that Cheryl has mobility to some extent. So that's not so bad, but there are some all-inclusives, and I think there are at least 2 accessible all-inclusive properties on Barbados. If they are, I'm going to try to get that information and put in there. There is a form here where you can contact them and you tell them what you need, and they'll actually fill out, and try to find you some information on what you need. They'll help you plan out your trip. So I thought that was really cool. This is the only site I have seen in the Caribbean where you could actually, let's see. Oh, actually, I want to go to one other site here. We're going to go over here. This is Barbados. And let's see, we're going to do search. Then this is how you find stuff. Oh, fully accessible Barbados. There's a link there. And actually, and we go to accessible services. It looks like these 3 are saying they're accessible. I don't know. The transport board. This is kind of cool, because the buses on the island are accessible. I did that research. Let me go back to. Well, anyway, maybe it was here I found it. No, but they have places that are accessible. So St. Nicholas Abbey, you got a rum tour, the beaches, the historical museum, George Washington House. This is accessible on the first floor. And there are, I need to double check, but I believe there are some other activities that are accessible. I don't think everything's listed yet. So I'm going to be doing some exploring. I have 5 days to film on the island. So we're going to go in there and do it. There is a company there. Actually, we'll just do this. The company on Barbados, Blessed Reynolds, has accessible vehicles, and you can get them with or without a driver. So we're going to sort that out as we get a little closer. Okay, so let's talk about Tampa Bay. And I'm going to pop up the Tampa Bay. They have, if you go under things to do, the number 1 thing on their list is accessible travel. And I'm going to turn this over to Cheryl, and she can show you what she wants to talk about.
Okay, quit sharing the screen then, because I didn't.
Okay, so she's not going to share screen.
I'm not going to share screen. Sorry.
She doesn't want you to see.
I don't know.
She has notes.
Ken was on the computer all day here. I couldn't get to it to make anything. Okay, but bring up my notes for me, and I can talk about this.
No.
Yeah, where is it? Oh.
There you
are. Okay, all right. So there's 2 main types of activities I want to talk about for Tampa Bay. One is museums, and because in general museums I find are accessible for the most part. Either they have an elevator or whatever, and usually you get from floor to floor, and if they're not, and they're usually not too crowded because they don't want you knocking things over. So I've always found museums to be easy with a walker or even a wheelchair usually. And then the other part is all types of other activities. And some of these are autism friendly. So if you're on that spectrum, you have a friend or family in that spectrum, you'll just listen carefully here. So the Museum of Science and Industry is very interesting. It has 400 hands-on experiences about weather, space, other things, and it is also autism friendly. So but on most of these ones, if you have something special like autism or blindness or difficulty seeing, if you call them, most of these places I have listed here, if you call them 2 to 3 weeks beforehand, they can arrange to make sure that the experience is good for you. So, and this is one, the Museum of Science Industry especially listed autism on their website. And then another one is the Henry B. Plant Museum. And this is very interesting. It was built for what would be $3 million years ago by a railroad magnate. And then today that value would be $75 million. And it's in the Tampa Bay Hotel. So imagine a $75 million hotel, what that must look like. I can't wait to go see this. If you're really into architecture, this is one of those buildings you'll want to go see. And here they also had, if you give a 2-week notice before, they'll give you a white glove tour for the blind. And they also have full performance transcripts they'll print out for you if you give them a 2-week notice. Now, the Florida Museum of Photographic Art, now that is a piece of art in itself. The building is a cube. It just looks exactly like a cube. It's very interesting. I want to go see that one too. If you love architecture, you've got to see it. It has contemporary and historic artworks. And for as far as accessibility, it has printed guides. And then they have tours on Sunday at 2 p.m. So I'm thinking that if you call them a few weeks ahead of time and said, I have difficulty seeing, can you have someone assist me? I imagine that would work for you, the docent tour at 2:00, but just giving them advance notice. And then also on most of these, I'm not going to repeat myself over and over again. They almost all have at least one wheelchair available. So if you have an elderly relative that's with you that might need a wheelchair, you can maybe hope, but I would say go early or call them and try to reserve it or find out the best way to get it, because some of them have 1, some have 4, some have scooters and wheelchairs, but just make sure you call ahead of time. And then the Glazers Children Museum. This is great for me. Like if I had any small grandchildren, I'll have to adopt some. Anyway, they have a museum and it's a learning laboratory. And they said in their place, no is a word you don't use. You just don't. It's a no. You just don't say no. And because it's all hands-on, the children are there to build their imagination playing. They have really interesting exhibits. One's called Tugboat Tots. One's called Gadget Garage, and they have a vet clinic and more. And I know when years ago they had one in Washington, D.C., and I just loved going there, and I took my son there once. And so I think this would be great for the grandkids. Now, the Museum of Fine Arts has really famous paintings from Monet, O'Keeffe. It also has objects from the ancient world, the Americas, and an extensive photography collection. It has ASL interpreted tours if you book 3 weeks ahead of time. And the Dali Museum has over 2,100 works by, of course, Salvador Dali. It's spread over 3 floors, but it does have an elevator. It has a cafe and a theater, a library. I'm thinking, ooh, you could spend all day there. So that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go find something with gadgets.
I'll leave him with the Children's Museum. Okay, now, but for really interesting activities, I know that museum after museum might not thrill you, but there are a lot of wonderful activities to do in the Tampa area. One is one that I'm actually wanted to do here in Charlotte, and I wasn't able to book it. But the iFly indoor skydiving, I took my granddaughter there and some friends, and they absolutely loved it. And the iFly skydiving locations have one night a month that they normally set aside for accessible, those with accessible needs. And so that's something I really, really want to do. So that I hope you can see a video of me doing that here by the end of the year.
Yeah, and this is the person that doesn't like heights, but she's going to do that. And she went on a zip line. Just don't put her in a gondola.
Anyway, there are 37 locations around the U.S., so that's something you can do probably even near you. But if you're happen to be in Tampa, it's a great place to try it. Of course, we're all familiar with Busch Gardens, most probably. There's several locations in the U.S. I went to one in Virginia a long time ago. The one in Tampa has an African theme. And this amazed me. They have 12,000 animals there. It's actually a very acclaimed zoo, besides the rides. Now, for those with needing special assistance, they have scripts for many of the shows and the rides. They have assisted listening devices for other ones that it's either scripts or assisted listening devices, I think, for most of the shows. If you're blind or have low vision, then they ask that you either bring someone with you or you schedule a park ambassador to read ride restrictions before boarding each ride. So you need to have somebody with you then. And they also have special relief areas like most large parks do for your pet relief for for your guide dogs. Now, the Florida Aquarium is a 500,000-gallon aquarium which simulates a natural environment from the beginning in the springs all the way following the life in the water all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. And so I really want to see that. I'm sure my husband wants to see it. He loves fishing. He's got to see this.
I have to take my fillet knife as I'm watching them.
Anyway, but now there's one thing that's not accessible there, and that's not fully accessible. They have a boat tour that you can take, but you need to be able to take 6 steps and a folding wheelchair. So just don't read about the boat tour if you're just confined to your wheelchair. That's not accessible.
Pam wants the I Fly skydiving.
Oh, yes. Oh, come down there to Tampa. Let's do it together. Okay. Then Tampa's Lowry Park is another zoo, 56 acres and 1,300 animals. The main attraction being injured manatees and how they care for them. Now, that's something I would love to see. When we were up in Alaska, we saw them caring for sea lions with problems. And
otters.
Yeah,
marine mammals, actually.
Yeah. And so the interesting thing here, though, a service animal will have to be okayed before you can bring it into the park, because on certain days, an animal may have a restriction where they have to be protected from other animals, and they may not let your service dog in that day. And that will be something you'll know probably until shortly before you get there. So you might want to have a backup plan for that day if something happens there. And let's see, only 3 more to go here. We got Wheaton Island Preserve. Is a 3,000 nature area with oysters, stingrays, and small sharks. This is a freebie. You can get in there for nothing. The boardwalk, but this is amazing. The boardwalk extends over tidal flats and mangrove forests, and there's nearly 2 miles of accessible boardwalks and paved trails. So I got to take my scooter for that one. I'm not pushing myself that far. But so I hope to get videos of that one. I think that'll be really interesting. Now, here's one I want to also try, even though I'm not a small child, Legoland. I've heard Legoland is not just for children, but on their website, they talk about that the Lego system, one of their goals is to build social skills that will allow children with social difficulties such as autism to improve social interaction and communication. So they have a variety of attractions that offer hands-on activities, and they can do things that will help to engage and soothe individuals with sensory disorders. So I thought that was very nice. And again, it's probably one of those things you want to call, find out what day, if they have special days for that, or if they just need to know ahead of time. And the last one is another one that's great for autism, families with someone with autism, the Sky Zone Trampoline Park. Once a month, they hold a sensory-friendly session with the sound turned off and the lights turned down. And that's a great place, again, for children to learn about skills in a safe and controlled environment. So I thought that was very nice of them. So these are things we want to hopefully get to tour and tell you about. And if you have any experience with those, you can put it in the chat and let us know what was great and what you had a problem with.
Okay, I'm going to pop this back up in the screen, because one of the things that Tampa Bay has done is they've partnered with people that have different kinds of difficulties in traveling. And so there are blogs by this gal, Jamie Santillo. There's virtual tours, sensory-friendly options. She gives, talks about accessibility, talks about the airport, talks about what they did during Disability Pride, and you get a little chance to talk to watch her. And, I think that is so cool that there are things like this that you can see. These are the kinds of things I try to create. And she's done a lot of things in Tampa Bay. And so I'm not going to try to recreate what she's done. We will do some of the things that we want to do. And like I said, I'm going to focus on transport and on hotels and accessible transport that can accommodate, wheelchairs from a hotel to an airport, all of those kinds of things. But I just thought this was, again, a really cool thing on a website, because so often there is no information. And so I will we'll put a bunch of links in the website. Yeah, I agree 100%, Pam, that there should be an accessibility page. There should be lists of accessible attractions, transportation, all of those things. They should answer the questions that all of us have when we're going somewhere we've never been. Is, how am I going to get where I need to go? What's it going to look like? Those kinds of things. So I am very pleased with the way they've done it. I thought, the fully accessible Barbados is, again, they're going in the same direction. They're not maybe quite as advanced, but they'll have some videos to work with when I'm done. And by the way, I just ordered Cheryl would say I ordered a new toy. I'm going to say I ordered a new tool. Because she and I have different opinions of things that I like to buy. Now, she can buy kitchen gadgets, and those are tools. They're not toys. But if I buy a new camera, that would be a toy. But no, we're going to be able to start filming 360 videos so that we can more effectively make it where you can see what it's like and get a better perspective. Not all of the things we do will be in 360, though we probably will post and share some stuff. There is a company called Ableize that I'm going to be sharing the videos that we create with, so that because she has she's building a global directory, in particular for those that deal with sensory issues. But it's good for everybody, because you can see what it's like. You start to have an idea. Will it work? Because that's the question I always have. And I think it's a question that most people that travel with any kind of a challenge have, is the underlying question is, will it work for me? Or am I going to wind up in a problem that I'm not going to be happy about? So, like I said, our goal is to work really hard on this. I'm still working on building out the accessible travel site. We will do that with a lot of these places as we go around. So we'll start to see that coming pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're gonna try the camera in the whole house, and if it works, we're gonna try to take it to our local zoo, which happens to be the largest zoo in the world and is very accessible. And we're gonna try to get some videos of that before we leave North Carolina.
Yeah, because we don't have to go and make a trip back. I mean, it's 4 miles from the house right now. I don't want to have to come back to try to film it. But it is. Again, our goal, as always, is to try to find the information that's helpful. For those that are interested, we still have some really good deals, and good deals for solo cabins on the December 3rd voyage on Valiant Lady. That's going to San Juan, to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, and to St. Thomas. And since we've never been to St. Thomas, that'll be pretty cool. We've never been to San Juan. So I started working on getting those things lined up. I also reached out because on November 20th, we sail out of Barbados. So if anybody wants to go island hopping, this is an amazing cruise, and prices were really good if you're willing to take a guaranteed cabin. It was like $319 or $390 a piece. I mean, it was insanely good. You sail out of Barbados, but you go to Grenada, St. Lucia, you go to Martinique, you go to Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago. So we've got lots of places that we're going to go see and do.
Oh.
Click it again.
Oh, he's up. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
What was your favorite thing in San Juan, if you can remember?
Oh, very nice. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that, because we have a bunch of places we've never been. It's interesting because sometimes you wind up in this rut, like Costa Maya, Cozumel, Rotan, Belize, some of those places we've been 4 or 5 times, the Bahamas quite a few times. So we're looking forward to these. And like I said, if you want to come and go with us, the one thing I can tell you is while I will be working, we will be filming, we'll have a good time where we're traveling too. So you're welcome. There'll be a bunch of links in the description. I'll put a label on what they're for. You can click on them. They'll take you somewhere interesting.
And the best thing is, to me, is what is it, 7 places in 7 days?
Yeah, 7 islands in 7 days is incredible.
Packing once. That's what I love about cruises. Packing one time.
Yeah. And so we're looking forward to both of our upcoming cruises. Like I said, there may be a couple of things happen before then, but right now, our first scheduled trip is going to be November 20th. So we appreciate everybody for joining us. Again, if your subscribe button is red, and only if it's red, please hit it. That's an emergency alert from YouTube that you're not subscribed to my channel. Also, if you got some value out of this, do me a favor, hit like. If you got a takeaway, something that you thought was really worthwhile in this, do me a favor and put that in the comments. We loved all of that.
Oh, okay. We'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll say, cobblestones are easier with a scooter than they are with a wheelchair. Downtown New Orleans has cobblestones, and they have missing.
Thanks, Pam.
They had some missing cobblestones, and when I'm not looking and pushing Cheryl, and you run into a hole where there should have been a cobblestone, it's pretty hard on Cheryl and the wheelchair.
Oh.
Not so hard on me until I get beat afterwards.
Oh, Michael, very similar to that. We've had the same thing happen one time on a train trip to New York, and we had a group in Chicago, and the bus driver realized it was like a big parade going on, and he realized they were going to get stuck, and he went back and got them. It's a couple times I'll tell you, the community out there, the bus drivers around, they really understand people's needs, and I find most of them would be compassionate like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice comment. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cobblestone.
Yeah.
Yes, cobblestone is difficult.
Yeah. And we love all you guys' comments. Yeah, as I said, public transportation, that's what's amazing is sometimes we've had, people be super, super nice. Public transportation, if you're ever in Vancouver, is amazing. We went all over. They've got a great train service, and you can pay. You get we paid for like a 3-day pass. Did you click on Mike's?
Oh.
And had a great time. We used the way out of it. We used the buses. We used the bus in out in San Pedro. That worked really well. Much better than the taxi, which never showed up.
And the buses in Banff are very frequent and reasonable. And
yeah, they had a really nice spot where you had a good view, and they're kind of upper level for most people.
But we have to stay in a wheelchair area down though. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So again, it's just a matter of putting this. And my goal in the long term is to try to document as much of this as everywhere we go. We're going to try to document what's there and what's easy. Like I said, I'm working on video from San Pedro, on Catalina, and I did the public transportation tour. That video is up on my channel of Avalon, which was really nice. My next one from there is going to be the Wrigley Museum or Wrigley Monument, and they have like a desert museum. That is very much a scooter-friendly destination. It is not a wheelchair-friendly destination. We had a wheelchair, and we used the wheelchair, but it wasn't friendly.
Not for the
desert museum, because it was uphill and rough road, sand, gravel. So, but anyway, again, thanks so much. We love having you guys all here with us and putting up with us for a little while. We will see you guys next Sunday. That'll be our final broadcast from our house. But this room won't get any barer because all that's in it right now is the desk the computer's sitting on and a couple of chairs. I've never been to Toronto, Michael. That's one of the places we're going to have to go to.
Yeah, we'll have to go there.
I would say, though, that the train from Rocky Mountaineer from Vancouver to Banff, I'm working on that video, too. That was super accessible. So nice. Anyway, We will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Bye.